What's going on, everybody? It's me, Brandon, back again with another episode. And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite consoles of all time. And that is the Nintendo GameCube. The Nintendo GameCube is one of my favorite consoles. I love the 6th generation of consoles. If you didn't notice already, I think I've said that in many videos I've made. But the PS2, original Xbox, and the GameCube, that's prime video game time right there for me. While the N64 and the PS1 and some consoles around that area, like right before the PS2 and all that stuff, those were okay third-person games and all that other stuff. But the PS2 and again that whole 6th generation, the Dreamcast included, really just knocked it out of the park. And that is a game generation that I adore so much. So today we're going to be talking about, and I will be showing you my entire Nintendo GameCube collection. Very excited to show this one off. This is a video I've been wanting to do for quite some time. I'm only a few games away. Like, I'm pretty much done, but this is something very special to me. I love the Nintendo GameCube so much. Let's go ahead and check out my Nintendo GameCube collection. Alright, let's talk about my Nintendo GameCube collection. So first off, we have my Platinum GameCube. Man, I love this thing. Platinum, this is my second GameCube I've had in my lifetime. The first one I did have was the black one. Very nice colors. I love what what Nintendo did with this console. I love the shape. I love everything about it. I love all the different colors. Just the one thing I do wish I could have had is the Spice Orange one. I love the color orange, and I think that would have been amazing. But Platinum was the one color I didn't have growing up, and I wasn't crazy about the indigo, but I didn't want black again, so I figured, you know what, Platinum it is. I do have the Game Boy player at the bottom because you can play the Game Boy games, and that's awesome to see on TV. There's one thing I would love to do with this GameCube, and that is there was a Resident Evil skin for this console. It was for Resident Evil 4. And it had like the village on all sides, and I believe on the sides it had Leon Kennedy being chainsawed by the Chainsaw Man, or I forget his name, but we'll be talking much more about Resident Evil 4 later in this video. So that is my GameCube, the Platinum Cube. Fantastic console. Let's get into the games. Alright, so some of these are going to be out of order. I had all my games in alphabetical order, but just because I put them down, we're just going to be starting to pick off some, and I kept a series that I love very near and dear to my heart for last. So the first game on here is Starfox Adventures. This is the last rare game for Nintendo, and this was Starfox Adventures. A lot of people don't like this too much. I played a little bit of it growing up, and I'm really excited to get back to it. But Starfox Adventures, pretty fun game. It's Zelda with Star Fox, basically. It's more of a rare game than it is of a Star Fox game. Can't own any 6th generation console without owning at least one version of this game. And this is Soul Calibur 2, one of the best fighting games of all time. This version has Link, the original Xbox has Spawn, and the PlayStation 2 has Heihachi from Tekken. We're getting into one of my favorite series right now, and that's Sonic. I love Sonic. If you didn't know, Sonic is a series that, you know what, he has bad games, but he's a very cool character, and I love the characters around him. I try to play all the games that do come out, but I have all of the GameCube games for Sonic. And let's start out with Sonic Riders. This is a really fun racing game. It's a little bit challenging. I'm at the last level, still haven't beaten Jet, but really like this one. We then have the Sonic Mega Collection. So this is a series of retro Sonic games. You can play Sonic 3 on here, which is a huge win. But yeah, it's a lot of the Genesis games with some extra goodies in there. Really like this one. I mean, if you're not familiar with Sonic, great entry point, because you do get to play Sonic 3, and Sonic 3 really isn't available on any modern consoles anymore, which really sucks because of licensing or something like that. But Sonic Mega Collection. Then we have Sonic's Gem Collection. This is a really cool one. I never got to play this one growing up, so I got this very recently, maybe within the past year or two. And this has Sonic CD, Sonic the Fighters, and Sonic Racing. And I really like this one. Sonic the Fighters was a lot of fun from what I played of it. And I just played Sonic CD very recently. I've always watched it, so I knew some of the stuff, like the time travel, but it was a very fun game. I'd say Sonic CD is probably one of my favorite Sonic games right now. And Sonic CD is pretty much everywhere now, but it's just a really cool way to own it physically on the Nintendo GameCube. Up next we have Sonic Heroes. This is a game I remember renting from Blockbuster. When I was younger, and I fell in love with it. I haven't really replayed it since then. Very excited to dive back into this game soon, just to see. I heard it doesn't hold up really well, which kind of bums me out, but Sonic Adventures, or Sonic Heroes, oh my god. Speaking of Sonic Adventure, we have Sonic Adventure DX, which was a re-release from the Sega Dreamcast to the Nintendo GameCube, and it's the director's cut. I've added some extra stuff, better visuals, all this other stuff. And then you have Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and this is literally one of the greatest Sonic games, and I love this game. I love it. And, you know, you can't take that away from me, because Sonic is just really good, and this is like a childhood game. I played it so much with my cousins when I was younger, and yeah, the Knuckles levels are just god-awful, but, you know, Shadow and Sonic Man and the Chow Garden and City Escape and the Knuckles levels, man. The Knuckles levels. I hate them. But I love these games. I just replayed the Sonic story on my Dreamcast for Sonic Adventure, and I love it so much. And I've been playing through Sonic Adventure 2 on my Dreamcast because that's my most recent console that I got that's retro, that's new. Beaten this game so many times. It's so good. I love it so much. If you haven't played Sonic Adventure, what are you waiting for? Please play it. It's probably really bad now if you've never been exposed to it, but so that's Sonic Adventure. I love those two games so much. Next we have Zoid's Battle Legends. This is a great game. When I grew up, I watched a lot of Cartoon Network, but I was more inclined to like the Toonami side. So there's a lot of my friends who love like Ed, Edd and Eddy and all that. I couldn't get into that. I'm more of a Nickelodeon guy, to be honest with you. But the Toonami, like slower end of the night segments, I remember this was either right before either like that Toonami or whatever, but Zoids was awesome. It was these animal mechs, and it was just so cool. They were fighting each other. It was like 3D like CGI kind of stuff. Awesome. And this game I got maybe a couple years ago. Never played it as a kid. It's very fun. I really recommend it. I love it. This is Zoid's Battle Legends. Next we have Wave Race Blue Storm. So Wave Race is a really good series that Nintendo really should return to. It's like a water rally sport game. You're on like the water jet skis kind of, and they're just fun. They're beautiful games too. There was Wave Race 64, which is awesome, and then there's Wave Race Blue Storm. The water looks unreal in these games. They're just really fun racing games. Totally recommend them. I love this like simplistic cover. It's really cool. Yeah. Wave Race Blue Storm. I think this is a launch title for the GameCube. Oh, yes. One of my favorite games. Just in general. I've owned it on a bunch of different consoles, but you know what? You just can't have too much Crazy Taxi in your life. The Offspring, man, this band, this game, just like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, influenced so much of my music choice. I love that punk rock. It's just, it's so good. Bad Religion's also in here. But yeah, Crazy Taxi, it's awesome. I know I own it on the GameCube. I own it on the Dreamcast. I own it on the original Xbox. I literally just bought a copy for the Game Boy Advance. Crazy Taxi, awesome game. Please, if you haven't played it, check it out. It's just a really fun time waster. And it lasts, literally a playthrough lasts maybe about 10 minutes, if that. So you can just keep playing it, keep having fun, keep listening to The Offspring, keep listening to this awesome punk rock music, and just enjoy it all. It's so good. Alright, up next is a game that, yes, I bought this a long time ago, and unfortunately, knowing GameStop, you can't get those cases all the time. So this is one that I'm actually looking to repurchase, but I'll just show the disc, and this is for Bloody Roar Primal Fury. This is an awesome game, and I grew up playing Bloody Roar on the PS1. If you're not familiar with Bloody Roar, it's basically Tekken, but you are these characters who can turn into animals and then that you fight. So there's one guy who's a chameleon, there's another guy who's a lion, there's two guys who can be different tigers, snow leopards, bats, rabbits, moles. It's awesome. I really love the Bloody Roar games. I think it's totally time for a reboot. And you know what? It may happen, and I'm really hoping so, because Bloody Roar, fantastic game series. You can actually pick them up on the PlayStation digital store or on the PSN shop. I bought Bloody Roar 2. You can play them on the PS3, and I totally recommend it. I think they're about $5. So up next is Shadow the Hedgehog. If you don't already know about this game, it's bad. It's Shadow. It's a guilty pleasure. I played it when I was younger, and I have Sonic. I like Sonic. I like Shadow too. I really do. I'm not gonna lie. Shadow is one of my favorite characters on the Sonic character front. But yeah, this game is interesting. So let me know in the comments down below if you really like Sonic the Hedgehog. Up next is a game I still have yet to play, but this is one that everybody told me you need to play, and that is Skies of Arcadia Legends. I know this is one of the more sought after titles for the GameCube, but this is something I'm really looking forward to playing, hopefully this summer. I've been kind of burnt out on RPGs, but I'm kind of getting that kick again to play some, and this one is kind of calling my name real soon. So I'm very excited to finally check out Skies of Arcadia Legends. This is a port from the Dreamcast that was really improved and had a lot of better quality of life improvements from what I've heard. What else do we got? One of the best Mario sports games. And I really hope we get like a sequel soon, and that is Mario Superstar Baseball. I play this game so much with my family. My sister and I love playing this game. We can spend hours just wasting time playing Mario Superstar Baseball. There was a really good Wii sequel as well, but unfortunately I don't think you can play the Wii version with a GameCube controller or any type of other controller aside from motion controls. So that kind of bums me up. But we usually always come back to Mario Superstar Baseball. It's so great. It's so fun. We really need another one of these. With all the tennis games and all, like, we keep getting Mario Parties. I'm just waiting till we get Mario Superstar Baseball. Then we have Luigi's Mansion. I just recently played this game, like a year or so ago, and I'm right at the end. I still haven't beaten it yet, but wow, this is awesome. I can't believe I've never played this game when I was younger. It's Ghostbusters, but with Luigi, and it's really fun. I'm very excited for the Luigi's Mansion 3 this year on the Nintendo Switch, but this is a really cool game. I'm shocked I didn't get to play it sooner. I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get to play it sooner, but really awesome game. Next, we're getting into another series here, and these are some great games. The first one here is The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Now, this is one of my favorite Zelda games. I think the art style, the gameplay, Toon Link, it's so good. I love the story. It's very awesome. Like, the first time I did play this, it was on the Wii U, and then when I started collecting for the GameCube, I was not thinking twice. I'm like, you need Wind Waker on the GameCube. And I feel like every year, I kind of get that weird urge to go play a Zelda game. It could be any Zelda game, but I just want to play a Zelda game. And I'm determining whether if it's going to be Wind Waker or this next game I'm going to show you. So the next one is Twilight Princess. this is an awesome game. Again, the first time I really beat this game was with the Wii U port. I owned it on the Wii, and I never got to finish it, and then I sat down right before the Switch came out, and I played Twilight Princess, and wow, what a send-off for the Wii U, in my opinion. Twilight Princess, not only do a lot of people kind of, I would say, criticize it now because they think it's a little too dark or etc. Like, I've seen a lot more complaints than there are positives, but I really love this game. I think the ending and the boss fight with Ganon was awesome, but I really liked the darker theme of this Zelda iteration. Majora's Mask, I love the story. The game is kind of hard to play in my opinion, so having this one, it felt really cool, and I loved Wolf Link too. It was a really, really fun time, and I'm always itching to play this game again. I don't know why. Then next is The Legend of Zelda, the Collector's Edition. So this is a collector's disc. This, I believe, was an original pre-order bonus for when you pre-ordered Wind Waker. So what it has is The Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Then you have The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and then you have a demo for Wind Waker. Man, if this was a pre-order bonus, this is awesome. Why don't we get any stuff like this anymore? This is so cool. Like, you get the 2 N64 games, and then you get the NES games on here as well. So cool. It's really awesome to have these games. I really wish they did something like this for the Switch, though, because I think it'd be really awesome to have the, to really get, like, those 3DS remakes on the Nintendo Switch. I would love that. I think those would be really cool. But I have seen a couple videos on the internet lately kind of proving that, while the graphics look really good over the N64 games, maybe the whole gameplay mechanics and everything just don't work as well as they do on the N64. So that's kind of interesting. So let's get to some other games we got here. Up next we have Kirby Air Ride. This is a great game. This is a good Mario Kart replacement, but I don't think it's better than Mario Kart. Kirby's always been that weird character to me where I appreciate the presence of him in Smash Brothers, but I always kind of thought he was overrated. And I can't say I really became a big Kirby fan until the latest Switch game. I really kind of gave that one a full try, and I almost 100%ed it. But I've always enjoyed some of the games that come out in the past, like Kirby Squeak Squad, and I love Kirby Air Ride. But I really want to go back and play some of the other ones, like Epic Yarn. I do own, but I haven't completed it yet. But I really do like it from what I played. Up next, we have an amazing shoot 'em up game, and that is Ikaruga. And this is a really tough as nails game. This is one of my dream games to get on the Nintendo GameCube. And I'm so happy to say I actually own it. This copy's a little bit beat up, but it's really cool to put on from time to time. And just to get my ass whooped, you know, it's just a really cool game. And I know it's on the Nintendo Switch, I know it's on PC, but since I've been collecting for GameCube, this is a game that I've really wanted. And a lot of people were telling me you gotta get it if you're getting GameCube games. So, Ikaruga. Up next is another series that I really, really adore. And when I was younger, you know, you get some games and you kind of buy them and you may regret them or you may love them, but you got to make them work because, you know, you don't have an income or whatever, your parents can't buy you enough games. And for me, I bought Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, and this was a game that I really wanted for a while. I think my cousins actually were getting me into this game. They kept talking about it after every family party, and I really fell in love with the idea. And I remember I finally got enough money and I ordered it off eBay when I was younger, and here we are. It's still the same copy. It's a player's choice copy. Wow, I love this game. I think the memory holds up a little bit more than the game, but I do always kind of want to go back and really kind of dive into this game. It made me fall in love with the whole series, but every Harvest Moon game I played outside of this one, I just never could really grasp. Maybe I just really got to sit down and play them again, but from what I hear, a lot of the good ones are the N64, these versions, A Wonderful Life and Another Wonderful Life, and there's a few others. Like, I really want to play the GBA one. But this was one of my favorite childhood games, trying to get the girl you want to go out with and marry, and that was always a fun experience. The crazy characters that walked around town, just the weird, quirky nature of some of the people. It was really fun, and I really miss it. I may actually play this today. And then after that, this is Harvest Moon, A Magical Melody. This one I actually haven't spent too much time with. I heard it's very fun. I heard it's one of the better Harvest Moon games, but I got this very recently, so I'm excited to check more of it out. Alright, and then we have Ratatouille, the movie video game. This is something I got when it first came out. I got it as like a birthday present, and I really like this game. You know, I'm not going to get rid of stuff that I don't enjoy, especially when it has kind of somewhat of sentimental value to me. So this is Ratatouille. This is a really cool, like, licensed game. I don't know exactly what to play, but I remember playing it all the time, or to say what it is, but I remember playing it all the time and actually having a blast with it. So that's Ratatouille. Then, as you all know, I'm a big Power Rangers fan. My friend Matt gave me Power Rangers Dino Thunder. This is a really okay game. I'm not going to say anything crazy about it. A lot of Power Ranger games aren't good. I sat down in one sitting and beat this game. You basically play as the Zords and do a bunch of fetch quests and escort missions, and it's a whole bunch of everybody loves these missions, and it's so much fun. We love it so much. It's so great. Thank you, Matt, because it's so good. No, seriously though, thank you so much for this. He knows I love Power Rangers. Power Rangers is awesome, and it's just a really cool game to have. I think I play through it every now and then just because it's like, hey, why not play Power Rangers Dino Thunder? It's something different. So let me move some stuff here because I don't want to get to some of this stuff right away, like I said, because I want to hold off on some cool stuff. Oh, yes. So next, two amazing games that need to come back, and we need a third one. And that is the Beautiful Joe games. Capcom. Hey, Capcom. One of your biggest fans here. Beautiful Joe is amazing, and it needs to come to the Nintendo Switch, or PlayStation 4, or Xbox One, or whatever's coming out next. Because Beautiful Joe deserves, like, 20 games. They're awesome superhero, like, campy. They know everything. They're self-aware almost. So good. They're just action platformers, and I can't express how much I love it. The Beautiful Joe game, Beautiful Joe, was originally a Nintendo GameCube exclusive. So what is cool is in some scenes on this version, you will see like Robs, like the Nintendo Robs in the background, which is very cool. And even on the box, you see Rob kind of just chilling right there in the background. Very cool. Very fun game. I can't recommend it enough. And then the sequel was also really good too. It introduces his girlfriend Sylvia as a playable character. But let me jump back to this one real quick. If you did buy it on the PS2, you got to play as Dante from Devil May Cry, and that was pretty cool. He wasn't voiced or anything. He kind of like mumbled like a Charlie Brown teacher. Still very exciting. I can't recommend these games enough. If you haven't played Beautiful Joe, please do yourself a favor and find a way to play them, because they're totally worth your time. And Capcom is a great company that is back on track, and we're totally needing some more, backlog games that they kind of put away. And I'm talking too much about Capcom, but Beautiful Joe, so good. Please check it out. I love them so much. Up next, a great co-op game, and that is Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Now, this is a game that I remember playing when I was quite younger. I think it was actually Gauntlet Legends that I played in the arcades, but Gauntlet Dark Legacy is very reminiscent or very similar, and it's so good. Just get a couple of your friends around and just have a blast playing this. Up next is FZero GX. This is a fantastic racing game. It's actually my first real big dive into the F-Zero games, and it's awesome. I love it so much. You can actually link using the GBA cable to F-Zero AX, I guess, and you can unlock some arcade games. Pretty cool. That's awesome. So this F-Zero GX is very fast, very fast, very furious, fast and furious. It's really good. Up next, not going to say too much about this one, but it's Super Smash Bros. Melee. Awesome game. Then we have Super Mario Sunshine, one of the most underrated games. I think a lot of people are starting to really appreciate this game now, but I love this so much. It's really good. I would love a remake, but I don't know how they're going to do it with the no analog bumpers on the Nintendo Switch. But, you know what? Nintendo, I got faith. I think you can do it. So that's Super Mario Sunshine. Then we have some other games here from another series. We got Star Wars Rogue Squadron 3, Rebel Strike. This one I played a little bit of. Not too bad. Not too bad. Then we have Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy. This is very good. And then we have probably one of the best Star Wars games, in my opinion. Star Wars Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2. This is an awesome game. You're replaying a lot of the famous icon ship scenes, like blowing up the Death Star. There's an amazing Hoth battle where you kind of have to do the wrap around the AT-ATs. So cool. I love this game. It is a GameCube exclusive, too. And I didn't have this one paired up with the other Star Fox, but I do have Starfox Assault. For those that didn't like Star Fox Adventures, you probably really liked Starfox Assault. That's because this is more of a shooter game. It's very similar to the retro Star Fox games, but you can actually get out of your ship, and there are some on-foot missions, which I didn't actually find too bad in this game. Up next, we have, this is one of my very, 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 very lucky finds. And again, I was with my friend Matt, and there's a whole story about this, and we'll probably talk about it in our video game podcast. But this is Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. This is a game I luckily found, or I'm very blessed to have found, not in like a retro game store, and somebody kind of didn't know the value of it. And you know what? I found it at a GameStop, and they just didn't know the value of this, and they couldn't price it the way they wanted to, so I got a really good deal on it. So that is Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Very, very good game. Next, we have Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. If you haven't heard about this game, this is a crazy horror game, published and made by Nintendo, and basically your TV can turn on and off your system. The game plays with you with a sanity meter, and it's pretty wild. It's a very interesting game. It doesn't hold up quite well, but it is fun to see all the different stuff that happens. Up next, this is a character I really wish got more exposure in the GameCube, and that is Donkey Kong. And this is Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. So you use the bongos to actually control him, and it basically plays as like a Donkey Kong Country, but you need the bongos, and I wish we could have just played it without the bongos. Actually, I think you can, but I think it's just the controls are so weird for it. But it's a very fun game. Up next, we have Custom Robo. This is a really cool game. I got this somewhat recently, maybe a year or so ago. And it's basically like mini Gundams, and you're basically fighting each other, building your best robots, and battling each other and having a blast. I love this game. It's very anime. It feels very Saturday morning cartoonish, and I can't recommend it enough. Up next is a game that I've always remembered seeing, but I never gave it a full shot, and that is Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. This is made by Sonic Team, and wow. This is so good. You're basically a character that's moving a ball, or moving an egg, basically, and that is the gameplay of it. It's very fun. I found it very relaxing. I remember playing a couple nights worth of this game, and I can't recommend it enough. Like I said, a lot of these GameCube games, I really narrowed down. Don't have almost any fat on this collection, because there's a lot of stuff that I actually care about and I will play. Up next is Baten Kaitos. This is a card game. RPG where basically, you know, you have your characters and then you have the combat as cards. I haven't really played this game yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I hear really good things. Up next is another series that I've never really got so into, but I really like it, and with the new one coming out on the Nintendo Switch probably later this year, I'm excited to give it a full shot, and that is Animal Crossing. I know a lot of people that love this game, and I don't know if it's just because I didn't have this growing up, but I never really got into it. I never was like sunken into it. The closest I got to it was when I played the 3DS one, and I remember feeling a little bit of that, like, that desire to keep going back, but I couldn't get sucked into this one. So that's Animal Crossing. Up next we have two excellent Pokemon games, and this is Pokemon Colosseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. This was before Pokemon was really in 3D, so to see them all in 3D on a GameCube or just on hardware was so cool and crazy. And just to think now with the Nintendo Switch and also after the 3DS, seeing Pokemon in 3D is kind of like an afterthought now, which kind of bumps me out, but still. There's great games, great stories. I love them so much. Up next is a great game series. This is Metroid Prime. So Metroid Prime, I honestly just played very recently. I was always more of a 2D Metroid fan, but I always loved the appeal of Prime. I played Metroid Prime, I think, maybe a year ago now, or no, 2 years ago, 2017. And I fell in love with that game, man. It's honestly probably one of the best Metroids I've ever played, and wow, so good. The graphics, the sound design, the creatures, the worlds, it's crazy. And then there was Ridley, Meta Ridley was in this game, and I finally, it all clicked when I beat this game. I finally understand why people are going crazy for this. And then this is Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. This is one I still have yet to play. I'm kind of hoping that they're going to just do a Metroid Prime trilogy on Switch, so I can go ahead and play it there. I have it on the Wii U, but I just don't like plugging in the Wii U because it's the Wii U. So, but yeah, Metroid Prime. Alright, we're really narrowing it down here to only a couple more things left. So, right here, I have Mario Kart Double Dash. This is the best Mario Kart in my opinion. I really wish we would just get a sequel with all of the new added characters. I think that would be so much fun and really exciting. But we can only hope, and hopefully soon we'll get a Double Dash sequel. And then the last game before we get to the final series on here, Metal Gear Solid, The Twin Snakes. This is a remake of the PlayStation 1 amazing game. This is an awesome remake. I'm surprised it never came out for anything else. If you haven't played it, please do yourself a favor and play the Twin Snakes. I think it is better than the PS1 version, obviously, because of the visuals. But I love this so much, and I think a lot of the GameCube games that got those exclusive deals really kind of, they got the best of everything. And I think Microsoft had a lot of cool games with their Xbox One, and they had some Sega games that were very cool, but some of those big name games, just appeared on the Nintendo GameCube. Oh yeah, we're not done yet. We still need to talk about one thing, and that one thing is the beautiful, the incredible, the amazing Resident Evil series on the Nintendo GameCube. This is crazy, dude. This is a chainsaw controller made for the Nintendo GameCube. How do you hold this thing? Do you play I love Resident Evil. And Resident Evil is one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. And you know what? They had the greatest video game, in my opinion, my favorite video game probably of all time as an exclusive. And that is Resident Evil 4. It's amazing. Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite. I've played that game well over 10 times. I own that game. This week I will own it 10 times. I love this game. But let me put this away, and then let me talk about my Resident Evil GameCube collection. So what's awesome about this is that it comes in this really sick box, and I just display this because there's no way I'm playing Resident Evil with the GameCube controller, with this chainsaw GameCube controller. I tried it. It's crazy. Like, it's more of a decorative piece, but wow, I love this thing. So let's talk about Resident Evil on the GameCube, huh? So there's a bunch of Resident Evil games, and for a while, it was the only place where you could play all of the Resident Evil games. It actually still is one of the only few places where you can play all of the Resident Evil games up until 4. So, you have the original Resident Evil Zero GameCube exclusive. I'm not too crazy about this game. This is probably the weakest or one of the weakest entries in the Resident Evil series. These games come out on 2 discs. Then you have the Resident Evil Remake. This was also an original exclusive for the Nintendo GameCube. This also came out on 2 discs. Love this game. This is incredible. If you haven't played it, please do yourself a favor and play it. We then also had ports of Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. I love these games. These are some of the best games, the best sequels out there. I know now you can play the nice new remade Resident Evil 2, and I recommend that, but I do recommend still trying to play the original because it's so good. And I just love playing them on the GameCube. Then Resident Evil 3. This one still needs to be remade, but Nemesis is in this, and it's awesome. He chases you the whole game. You're also Jill Valentine, and it's a blast. Can't recommend these 2 games enough. And then you have Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Now, this was a port from the Dreamcast, and this is very good. This wasn't exclusive. This was also on the PlayStation 2. Again, now you can play a lot of these games all on one console, aside from Resident Evil 3. But you have 2 discs on this version as well, and we need to talk about this. This is my favorite cover of Resident Evil 4. This is my favorite way to play Resident Evil 4. This is the game for me. I can't express how much I love this game. This was a game that I was friends with this kid in 6th grade, and he loved Resident Evil, and he would talk to me about it. And I remember going to the mall and purchasing Resident Evil 4, and I fell in love with it. I was horrified of it, but I loved it so much. And to this day, it is just a game series that I completely just head over heels fell in love with. And Resident Evil 4 especially, I know this is more of it's very actiony. It ruined a lot of the Resident Evil horror and all this other stuff. I get that, but Resident Evil 4 is almost it's literally a perfect game to me. I think I'm never tired of it. I'm never bored of it. The only reason I would be bored of it is because I played it so much. But I try to play this game at least once a year. It's so good. I can't recommend it enough. And it's coming out for the Nintendo Switch on Tuesday. And guess who's buying it? Again, me. It's going to be the first time it's portable. And these games on the GameCube were also 2 discs. So I always found it perfectly played with a GameCube controller. I think it's very weird that I'm still saying that, because I did play it on the Wii and I thought the motion aiming was awesome, but for some reason I love that GameCube controller. I played it on the PS3, I played it on the Xbox One, I played it literally on everything. I even played some of it on the mobile when it came out years ago. And yeah, I always found the GameCube controller the perfect way to play it, obviously aside from like the Wii. But wow, Resident Evil is one of my favorite series ever, and I think whenever we get the chance to get like a remake of Resident Evil 4, it's gonna be one hell of a ride for me. I cannot wait. Leon Kennedy is one of my favorite characters. The Village is an iconic scene in video games for me, and I loved always recommending Resident Evil 4 to people and seeing them go and play it, and then they come back and tell me how much they loved it. And that's always just, it's kind of funny because there's a parasite in Resident Evil 4, and I think whenever I expose somebody to Resident Evil 4, that like parasite gets infected and everybody else kind of like starts telling everybody about it. And I love that. I love Resident Evil 4. I love Resident Evil as a series, and I'm so excited to be getting it on the Nintendo Switch this week. But I love it so much. And also, I do have a Japanese copy of Resident Evil 1. It's called Biohazard. That's what it's called in Japan. And it's very cool to have this. You know, it's just basically like the GBA player box art. And I kind of wish these game cases were like this in America. That's really cool. So, this is definitely the end of this episode today. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button. Please consider subscribing for more upcoming content if you are interested. My name is Brandon. If you're looking for me on social media, I'm at the Wenzinator. But that is it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.